Now move to the distinguished gentleman, the young chairman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to direct my questions a little bit differently, and I wanted to participate in this hearing because I've been looking at some of these issues for quite a while. And I realize this is focused predominantly on fraud, risk management. But one of the things that I think creates an opportunity for fraud and mismanagement is how we handle big projects at the Department of Defense, whether it's a construction project or a new weapon system. And I just want to ask each of you to comment on this if you think it's you're able to do that. I think a lot of times when Congress approves a major weapons system or a major construction project, and this is particularly problematic on construction projects overseas, there's a tendency on the part of Department of Defense to start those projects before the design is complete. And it results in a huge amount in change orders. I'm working on some ideas on how to mitigate that from the congressional side in terms of ensuring that the money will be there so that they don't feel the pressure to start these construction projects or other projects or weapon systems before the design is ready. But would you comment on how that, when your design is not complete, you're issuing lots of change orders, how that opens us up to mismanagement and potential fraud?
Me, sir? Yeah. I wouldn't be able to discuss that, but in a different sphere, I would submit that what you're talking about, large procurements of weapon systems, they are really hybrids for fraud because of the, like you said, the complex nature of and when they come online, and then the other parts come online. So we do have a lot of worry about large weapon systems, and we have a lot of fraud work in the past and now in those kinds of things when they're in that phase. So that's would be my feedback to you.
Mr. Bagdoyan?
Yeah, I would fully agree with Mr. Mayo's comments. I mean, this is an element of hyper complexity. Basically, you have a big system. It has, the prime contractor, I assume, leading the effort, and then the whole army of subcontractors, which is a key element of risk here. I'm not a procurement expert by any means, but I do believe that that element of complexity, uncertainty, long lead times, all kinds of different things add to heightened risk, definitely.
And when you add to that just a myriad of change orders.
That's right.
Which I think is problematic. And then when you start talking about construction projects, and particularly in remote locations, I think it makes it very difficult for inventory management. And again, if the design is not complete and you're making all these changes, isn't that an area where we need to really bear down? And Mr. Chairman, I've been giving quite a bit of thought to this, and I've actually been thinking about this for 6 or 8 years about how we appropriate for major defense programs, and maybe thinking about saying that if a program design, if the project design or the weapon system design is not ready, that we carry the funding over into the next fiscal year, so that we give the Department of Defense time to get the design right. And I think that will reduce a lot of the fraud and mismanagement and save us a lot of money on that area, in those areas. And Mr. Mayo, Mr. Bagdoyan, you can comment on that. And you may have already commented sufficiently, but that's one of the areas where I really want to focus, Mr. Chairman, in terms of trying to reduce the amount of waste that we have in our defense procurement programs. Yeah. That I'll be happy to yield back.
Yeah, if I may answer Mr. Palmer's question, Mr. Chairman, each element of complexity in a program, as I alluded to in my opening remarks, that's one of the key drivers of fraud risk in federal programs, is their complex configuration, what someone can do, can't do, and so on. So it's almost like risk is built in. And if you add multiple layers in a big, complex program of DoD, then that really exacerbates risk. So trying to control for that as part of the upfront due diligence, for example, would be an important step.
I thank the witnesses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.